Good morning, everyone. I am delighted to be here with two awesome panelists. We have Maria from the Independent Association of the Banks of Ukraine, Vitaliy, who will be joining us virtually, and Ross from DCM as well. Let me give you the
Great, thank you.
The slide. So we're gonna have a round five for the secret word, and for me, the clue I'm going to give is groundbreaking. And at the end of the session, you can tell me what that secret word is. This morning, Maria will provide us with a overview of the Ukrainian banking system. Vitaliy and Ross will explain the solution that they are developing in Ukraine. You know, my secret word, again, or my key word here is groundbreaking, and that's what these folks are doing in Ukraine. Before we begin, let me just thank our panelists for coming from Ukraine. For those of you who are unaware, it's a multi-day journey to get here. So I'm incredibly grateful for our Ukrainian colleagues right now. And Vitaliy is joining us virtually. Unfortunately, he was stuck in travel. So with that, let me pass it on to Maria to give us a background on the Ukrainian banking system.
Thank you. First of all, thanks for having me here. It really was a long journey, but finally we did that. So maybe a couple of words about the sort of background. It won't be an overview of the banking system. It's just about maybe the payment landscape. And to start with, I think, can we have the presentation here?
You can click next.
Not sure. Yeah. Right. So a couple of words just about who we are and why we are here and why are we all together doing the project. We are the Independent Association of the Banks of Ukraine, and we are the actually largest banking union in the market. We unite more than 96% of all the assets of the banking system, not just the banks, but the non-banking financial companies as well, since recently. We are, in terms of our cooperation, we cover all the issues that are anyhow connected with the financial sector, and of course, we're tightly cooperating with all the international partners, such as the IMF, the IFC, the World Bank, and so on and so forth. Before telling about the landscape, I think it's obvious that we need some context, and unfortunately, the context is about war. So, since the war started last year, I mean the large-scale war, the banks have been continuing operating stably. The banks have been continuing providing the same amount and the same level of services, which is pretty awesome because of all the things happening. And the non-occupied territories have been restoring in really short terms and continuing providing all the necessary services. And if we talk about the war context, also the really important thing is that we do have a success story. If we talk about the landscape and infrastructure in particular, is introducing of the sort of project called Power Banking. It's the network of the real physical offices of the systematically important banks that even during the blackout could provide it, and they did that, the basic banking services, so the population didn't miss any day and there was no pause and all that. If we talk about maybe the classic view of the payment infrastructure, you may see that we do have pretty big numbers about the active retail POS terminals, the points of services, providing where you can actually use the payment cards. And if we talk about the representatives such as payment systems, we do have the classic ones. We have 99% of the market share in between Visa and MasterCard, and we also do have the national payment system, Proster, which is currently in the stage of being developed. So it's not really that big sort of thing. If we talk about maybe the consumers of banking services, we have a really intense growth of the non-cash payments, if we talk about that one. Of course, for the whole world, it started, I think, since Corona crisis, but the context of war also increased that number generously because since the 21st year, and of course going on, it's really continuous integration of the numbers. If we talk about, for example, the exact number of non-cash transactions, it's over 90% that all the transactions with the cards that are made non-cash. We also do have a really wide range of fintechs in Ukraine. It's about like 250 fintechs just registered in Ukraine. And of course, I think all of you know that there are a lot of Ukrainian startups and fintechs that are all over the world. I'm telling just about registered in Ukraine. And if we talk about the level of success, if we should say so, the maybe about 70% have already reached their break-even point. So this tells about the efficiency of management and the efficiency of the idea of the Ukrainian fintech in general. But we also do have a couple of challenges. Of course, it won't be that easy because despite the nice numbers, despite the success stories that we faced during the last blackouts and the winter that we're planning to face these days, of course, we have a couple of challenges. First of all, the technical demand from the consumers is continuing to raise. And the second phase is, of course, Ukraine is in the urgent stage of necessity of donor funding. And if we talk about integration with donors, of course, the main issue that we have is developing of transparency. That is why, together with our I don't know, wonderful partners, with Stellar and DCM, we developed the idea of the projects that will be a big platform. This will be a union of the banks, where everything will be as transparent as you can only imagine. My colleagues will tell more details, more perfect, wonderful details about the thing that we'll be introducing in the market. We're, of course, starting in Ukraine. It's our big plan. But I think the dream case is to share it all over the world because it's a pretty awesome case. So yeah, the main idea is to provide the platform where the funds can be shared as transparently as they can. It reduces any risk of corruption. It increases the investment attractiveness of the country. And it is really a next step to cooperation with the donors, all the levels, international ones, national ones, and donors that are, I don't know, thinking about any specific kind of area that they would like to support. So I think maybe now it's time to switch the floor and tell more technical details, and it's just the background of the project that we'll be introducing. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Vitaliy? Vitaliy, are you there? Vitaliy, are you there? Okay. Okay. Ross? Ross?
Okay, I can start. With bringing more details about the transfer payment network because we are at the edge of the launching of the building that live, and fortunately we became a DCM platform became the base for the making that possible. The transfer payment network, or as we call the TPN, is literally the real-time payment network that works with connection with innovative stellar infrastructure and brought live the ability of mass payments, instant mass payments to the financial industry, the financial landscape of Ukraine. Why it's important? It's already possible because a lot of companies, a lot of banks, and a lot of governments, countries already integrated
their own real-time payment networks, and banks, merchants, companies with heavy transaction laws already demand the ability to transact more freely with less efforts in terms of fees to pay, and with more connection to the end users, getting more from the from the payment flows, and so on and so forth. Moreover, public services, aid organizations are also interested in this and adopting at some point the parts of this system, because the parts of similar systems, and in Ukraine we managed to do that and bring all of these parties, because they are struggling from having the micropayments landed in financial systems because of really lack of efficiency from traditional payment rails and the need of transparent and secure disbursement of aid to the people that require support. And to bring more details, what's inside the TPN, what's inside the Transparent Payment Network, we want to share that International Association of Banks in Ukraine established the consortium with partners, with partner banks, and adopted the DCM solution to bring the TPN network, into the reality. On top of that, we already welcome the partners. For example, DIA. For example, next would be also the public transportation, like a Kyiv Digital, or e-commerce marketplaces that are suffering from the heavy transaction load and the low efficiency of the current payments infrastructure. But in order to understand...
Hello, guys.
What?
I think
do you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah, if you don't mind. Thank you for supporting. There was some if you don't mind, thank you so much, guys, and for the opportunity to be here today. Unfortunately, in this format, but still. So, if you don't mind, I will take the word right now and we'll describe something about the product itself, actually. The tokenized deposit. When I say this, I'm not sure that we all understand the same thing. But before I explain what is our product about, I'd like to give you a background. So we assume and strongly believe that an effective form of money already exists. It is fiat. When exchanging any asset, you still take into account the market value of this asset in fiat. So the fiat is the most liquid asset, and it is the best regulated and insured as well. So we take the existing banking infrastructure in the blue one on the slide you see it, and connect it with Stellar, enabling the traditional finance work with all the advantages of the technological world. Literally, it means let every client to open account in Stellar and do transactions in the public network, which are simultaneously reflected in the bank's core systems. The transactions are initiated in the bank's apps and performed on Stellar, which is accepted as source of truth and reflected back in the core system of the bank immediately. So let's see what happens in the network on the next slide. Two fund owners, a customer and a merchant. It could be customer and customer, it could be legal entity, whatever. So they make transaction in Stellar using their bank's app. So transaction is initiated in the bank's app. Then, due to the integration provided by DCM, the deal settled in Stellar first, step one, and then simultaneously reflected in the bank's core system, step two. Online financial messages exchange is provided by DCM. In this way, the clients don't feel that they are operating outside the bank. The third step is the interbank settlement is done according to the regulation agreed between the banks. Talking about the next slide, we would like to show you the flow of funds for aid disbursement. You all know the reality Ukrainian people faced because of the Kremlin invasion. The whole world reacted with a great support. We're deeply thankful to all of you. International aid organizations, donors, all kinds of funds, all over the world are playing an important role in our survival. The solution we present today could be used with a high efficiency in business and public sector, but these days we want to emphasize how it perfectly fits the relief organizations and donors because of its core values, transparency, low cost, and traceability. Here we show the flow of funds for aid organization operating through the bank, which is using Stellar Public Network as a real-time payment solution. So first, aid organization opens account in Ukrainian bank. The bank opens account for aid organization on Stellar, makes currency exchange. Aid organization receives hryvnia on the tokenized account, and the aid organization then can do disbursements directly to clients' tokenized accounts in Stellar, or using a fund manager through the bulk payment to the SDP, Stellar Disbursement Platform. After disbursement and actually settled in Stellar, such transactions are immediately reflected in the bank's core system in fiat. So the whole model operates as real-time payment platform, empowering the fund owners with the tools that provide transparency, low-cost traceability, as well as have the features of fast payments. Recipients could use the funds received on their own way, as like they are using usual fiat, So how it happens, let's take a look on the next slide.
So Vitaliy, I think we're running out of time. So I want to encourage folks to basically, approach DCM to learn more about the solution. The word that I used at the beginning is groundbreaking, and it's groundbreaking on a number of levels. What DCM is doing is basically building the first retail fast payment system on a public blockchain. And that has huge implications for government spending, donor spending, nonprofit spending, and it's an incredible solution that they're building. So keep posted in the upcoming weeks and months on TPN, and we look forward to seeing this system in production. Many thanks to Maria, Vitaliy, sorry for the technical difficulties, and Ross for joining us this morning.
Thank you.